Alright, welcome back. So we're going to do a reaction to Creed 2, specifically the training montage. Going to break it down a little bit, talk about the good, the bad, and overall, I mean, spoiler alert, it's just a good training scene. So let's take a look.
Harder. Harder. Harder.
All right. So right off the bat, we've got a great exercise going on. This is the sledgehammer hit. Now, in this case, he's just doing it straight up on the ground in the desert. Totally cool. A lot of times, more so in a gym setting, you'll see people hitting like very large tires, and that's so there's some good positive feedback coming down. You don't want to be running this thing into like concrete or anything like that, because it's going to give a real bad vibration through your wrist. Not going to feel great. But this is a great example of metabolic conditioning, and I know we throw that word around a lot, but basically what that is it's getting your metabolic engine going. All right, it's making it so you can reach a pretty high heart rate, right? We're playing around that 80% to even so 100% could fall under metabolic conditioning. And it's a great alternative so we don't get overuse injuries. That's kind of one of the huge advantages to it. Doing too much running or really too much of anything, for example, it's just going to wear down that specific aspect of the body, whether it be the knee joints, the elbow joints, just whatever. So metabolic conditioning, this is an excellent, excellent selection to mix it up a little bit. So we got that neck trainer going on. This is great for any type of combat sports, anything that revolves you getting hit, anything like that, just to build up those muscles in the neck. So if you did receive a punch, all these muscles can absorb that impact and be able to stabilize. For your average person outside of combat sports, you probably don't really need to be doing this exercise.
Man up.
Yeah, that's a big dude.
I'm good. Shit. That's the fight it's going to be, toe to toe. Get used to it. Back. Take it to the body.
And then looking at Drago Jr., that dude is a total beast. I don't know what that actor's name is, but he is a beast. They chose well in the casting for that. All right, so taking a look right there, you got Rocky hitting Adonis with that heavy medicine ball right in the abs. So that's some impact training. The technical word for that is perturbation. And what that's doing is every hit, every impact you make, you're training your body to absorb and to get that very quick explosive flexion, right, or contraction, right? So from a boxing standpoint or any type of impact sport like that, to train your body to take hits and be able to flex and be able to absorb that, this is a great, very specific function for something like boxing. Again, normal person in the gym, you can play around with it, but not really something that needs to be in your training program.
Right? Back in there. Back in there. Protect yourself.
as the sledgehammer continues. All right, I love this scene. This is awesome. So Adonis is just chilling in an ice bath, and this is hyper realistic for what would really be going on in like a professional fight camp like this. The amount of work that you're doing every single day, especially at that level, is absolute destruction on your body, right? And it's important to remember like how much recovery actually needs to take place, not only from just a regular person working out, right, but especially a professional athlete or anyone that competes at that level. There's a lot of back and forth about ice baths. I won't get into the like all the arguments and stuff, right? People talk about how it's, production of brown fat and how that translates to a lot of different health benefits. Again, not going to weigh in on that side. However, what I will say is just not really an area of argument. It's indisputable, is that cold lowers inflammation, and it's going to help with inflammation. So when it comes to recovery, there's no doubt that exposing yourself to the cold, such as in this fashion, is going to help you out there, all right? There could be 10 other things, right, that they speculate about, but this is a great tool. Colleges use this, professional sports use this across the world. Definitely a tried and true method. Definitely you can look for, there's a bunch of videos out there on like just how to do your own ice bath, right? I've got an ice bath and it's just a horse trough that I put water in, and then when I'm ready to do an ice bath, I dump ice in. It's not rocket science, all right? So awesome recovery tool. All right, so Adonis just passed out on that run. Pretty intense. I get it that they're depicting a fight camp here and how hard he's working, but even at the professional level, even the best of the best should not be pushing yourself to heat exhaustion and heat stroke. That's a big no-no. If there was any type of actual strength and conditioning coach in a real life situation here with him, they should be pulling him back way before something like that happens where you actually pass out. So once you start operating in those environments, he's in the desert, super hot, super super hot, super dry, probably a lack of hydration, lack of electrolytes. Any good strength coach is going to pull them back once they start to feel a little bit lightheaded, dizzy, let alone blacking out and passing out on the street. Not something that we should be pushing ourselves to in any type of fitness modality.
You might find me by the water, waiting for the trumpet call. Oh, you
Come on, get up, kid.
see me like a stranger.
Get up.
Very motivational moment. He's telling him to get up, and he's digging deep, and he's going to get back up. But
That's it.
yeah, this would be the end of a training day.
Amen.
Breaking out the cage, tell them lock the change.
Oh, yeah. All right, getting a little bit of sled pulls in. All right, so sled, super versatile item. You can find that at a lot of good like performance gyms, probably not at like your LA Fitness or your standard corporate gym, but you can get this for your home gym super easy too. Awesome tool. Again, we're going to put this in the category of metabolic conditioning. This is not something, I get it, he's pulling, right? And so, yes, realistically, he's using his lats to do that primary movement of the pull. But the thing about it is, from a getting jacked standpoint, this would not be the tool to use primarily. You can definitely throw it into your program. Nothing is wrong with using metabolic conditioning for even a program where you want to increase your aesthetics, all right? But the issue is every time you pull, once you're done with the pull and that sled has dragged, the tension's gone. Now you have to reach with the other hand, and you're always losing tension, right? So that's kind of the big key when it comes to building muscle, getting jacked, is having that time under tension, having that big stretch, constantly under load. This would not be the case, but throwing this in to get your heart rate up, right? You do some sledgehammer hits, right? And metabolic conditioning is pretty short, right? We're talking about between 10, maybe 30 seconds. You throw the sledgehammer down, boom, you move on right to your sled drags, you move on to your heavy bag, right? Just a very high demand circuit, very short burst of energy.
Adrenaline and rage, I may never change.
Some tire flips. Tire flips are awesome, but you got to get a heavy tire since it tilts on an axis.
Running this shit, both legs, bro. Word around town that they coming for my head, though. Funny thing about it, they don't know it's in my head, though. Schizo, maniac, finna go klepto. So hands on, it's gonna hard for me to let go. Lego, my ego.
Yeah, so what's real cool, like just watching the scene, I love how like they're out in this desert training facility, right? And I don't know who the other fighters are, but it's just cool that there's like a bunch of other people out in the desert training. Could you imagine if like you take like a week off work, just like on your own volition, and like you just tell your boss, hey man, I'm going out to a fight camp in the desert, you know, no big deal. I'll see you next week. Really, really cool stuff. You know, I used to live in the desert when I was in the military, out in 29 Palms in the Mojave Desert, and super precarious conditions. You start doing the same stuff there that you do in kind of a regular climate, and it's just a lot more dangerous there. Just doing, you know, we're seeing Adonis doing a bunch of high intensity movements and everything. Just got to be real careful training in those environments. You know, like regular water alone is not good enough. You got to be supplementing with, you know, sports drinks, Gatorade, electrolytes, different things like that. Have real good nutrition to be able to handle these conditions. So it's cool that he just did his entire camp out in this environment.
My ego in the same boat with a slow leak, screaming at the world till she prego. 2 middle fingers to you all till I'm dead and gone.
Tell you what, Michael B. Jordan is, I mean, he's sprinting hard right now, and he's jacked. You know, we don't have too many Hollywood actors these days that are in that type of shape, right? You got like Michael B. Jordan, you got The Rock, but it's not like back in the day where you had more people like that. He trained hard for this role, real hard. Not only getting jacked, but also like learning how to box and do these movements. You know, so anyway, that's the video. Overall, this was a really good, realistic training segment. They got a lot of good stuff going on there. I didn't see anything that was like hokey or just for cinematic effect that wouldn't have any type of fitness translation to like a real fight camp. So that's always super just refreshing to see. Whoever the strength and conditioning consultant was for this did a really good job just choosing these exercises and giving it cinematic value also, because a lot of these, they looked really cool and I'm sure got a lot of people pumped up. I saw one of the comments when I was looking at these videos, and it said, one dude said, this video got me motivated, so I drove to McDonald's instead of ordering it for delivery. You know, but yeah, it's montages like this that they can really get you pumped up, and we need those little doses of motivation to keep us going and, you know, give us a little bit every workout. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next.